And we are back with yet another, in fact, the 6th episode of CUZZO-OP. Two cousins, one podcast, endless entertainment. And we are so glad that you tuned in tonight. We're coming off of yet another Oscars night. 2023 Oscars happened last night, recording this on Monday. And it's still fresh in my mind. Who won, who lost, who got snubbed, where there's some injustice in this Oscars system, and why Jimmy Kimmel felt that RR&R was a Bollywood film. I just don't know. No one knows. We don't know. Do you know?
I don't like Jimmy Kimmel as a host at all.
Wait. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Willie. Who are you?
IV, nah, mean, we here. Sorry, forgot the intro. Or did I?
You like doing different things.
That's right. Back to Kimmel. Come on, bro.
I didn't like him as a host. I don't really care for him on his own show, even.
Yeah, I'm more of a Fallon guy.
Absolutely, me too.
100%. He's just genuine.
I don't know. He wasn't landing things for me. And then some of the jokes that they had him saying, I don't really want to get into it, but I think they were corny that they were letting him make some of those jokes.
Yo, bro, I don't know how much they had him saying it. I'm pretty sure he gets his say in some of what he says. I mean, there's definitely writers, but yeah, it was bad, man.
But we're not here for Jimmy Kimmel. We not here for him, bro.
You're right. We're here for the Oscars, but you know, I'm hosting tonight's episode, and the reason why I wanted to is because Oscars is such an interesting thing, man. I feel like there's this, I know a lot of people who are film geeks who don't like watching the Oscars. People's opinions on film that I really respect, and they don't even entertain themselves looking at the Oscars, similar to some of my favorite rappers that don't care to submit their music for Grammys. And so this show, I feel like there's a lot going on. It may seem like a very simple show, couple music performances, people get their awards, basically the same as the Golden Globes. Nah. There's something special about this. There's been something special before Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. And we want to jump into it. I straight up want to go right into this point, Will. I just want you to share with our listeners who you decided where you were going to nominate going one by one. I think you should go down the list. Just share who you were thinking was going to win. And in my defense, before we get into this, I thought we were just saying who we would prefer. I didn't think we were trying to predict or guess. That's my bad.
It was a mix of both. This was very hard. As I've said before, for this year, I've been trying to watch one movie a day. So leading up to the Oscars, I decided, well, I'm going to watch the Oscar movies, right, and this will be the first Oscars I really sit down and watch for the sole purpose of my challenge and our podcast. I want to have a real opinion on this situation, because a lot of people immediately, they watch one movie and they say, this person deserves an Oscar, but they never really think about the idea that so do so many other people.
Right.
It's about who deserves it the most. So these opinions are coming from someone who watched these movies.
That's right. Keep it real. We actually watch these things, you know what I mean?
I kind of want to work backwards from what we have here. So visual effects, I had Avatar, The Way of the Water.
I had Batman.
Yeah, Avatar, it makes sense. And I don't even really care for the Avatar movies like that, but I can't take away the fact that they're visually very interesting.
Me either, but it's James Cameron, bro.
Absolutely, but you know, unfortunately, there's the one reason why Avatar is relevant, and I knew they were going to get that award.
Sure, I guess. Batman was pretty interesting too, but anyways.
Sound. I had Top Gun Maverick.
I had Batman, but
I wanted the Batman to get it, but after watching Top Gun, I was like, nah. Top Gun was fantastic.
You're right. I think the fact that they got, you heard about elephants? They had elephant noises that they use to make the
I didn't. I haven't really looked into the behind the scenes of it. I just know what I was listening to while watching. It was pretty great.
It was excellent, bro. I can't imagine what that one's like in IMAX. Who'd you have for original song?
Original song, I went and I listened to all these outside of the movies that they are in. And I put Lift Me Up from Rihanna. Just because, like, I mean, it was like very emotionally impacting. But the R&R song that ended up winning, you know, they got it also. Like, now original score, what did you have?
I had Babylon. And the reason why I had Babylon was because musically Damien Chazelle is very, very intentional about the songs he has behind his movies. And I feel like that's one thing, even though Babylon was heinous and terribly marketed and a very left turn from anything else I feel like he's made. I felt like score-wise, they had something very great. But obviously, we know how that ended up. How about you?
So I had the winner, All Quiet on the Western Front. Now, let me tell you, right? Because the scores, the nominees, they were all really good. They had John Williams, you know, John Williams. That's Everything Everywhere All at Once. You know, that was a great. But when I watched All Quiet on the Western Front, there's one song that is repeated throughout the movie that you feel it's like gripping. It grips on you. It makes that film feel very weighted. And so when I heard it about halfway through the movie, I was like, this might be it. And I just went with it.
Right.
But Babylon, listening to that, I was like, okay, they're two completely different. Yeah, that's another thing. They're different soundtracks. So one is energetic, one is very somber and just.
I feel that, bro. That was a great guess.
I was surprised, though, seriously, because I did think it was going to Babylon, but I wanted All Quiet on the Western Front to win.
I feel like what we should say here is this. If we get to a movie where it's more than just, oh, I really enjoyed it, it was well done, but you really want to go off on a movie in terms of why you chose them for an option, you have the full room too. All right? I'm just letting you know.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
What's next?
Writing. Original screenplay.
Original screenplay.
We both guessed Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. It's amazing, bro. And if you didn't get it, you weren't paying attention, bro. I just feel like if you give attention to this movie, it returns something back to you. It gives something back to you.
I mean, here's what I'll say, right? The nominees, The Fabelmans, Tar, Triangle of Sadness, and The Banshees of Inisherin, they were all also great movies. They were great screenplays. They got the unfortunate placement of having to go up against Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It's insane. If you're talking about original, like, I don't know, man. They did something really special with this movie. You know, I've gone on air, I don't think on CUZZO-OP yet, but this is easily jumped to my top 5 movies of all time, like easy, effortlessly, you know. And last year for 2022, that's where I said it. I liked Batman and I liked Everything Everywhere All at Once. I thought those were the two best of 2022 for me. I saw this movie by myself, went to the theater by myself. You can judge me if you want. Come on.
Nah, but if you know, they say you have true strength if you can do things alone.
Talk about, he dropping bars. Like, I pull up to the theater. I got myself my kids pack. I'm vibing. Got my gummies. We chilling. Movie starts. I'm done. Within the first 15 minutes, when he's explaining the multiverse, I'm eating this up. I'm not just eating my popcorn up. I'm eating the movie up. It's going. I just think with this movie, they took a complex concept, and if you don't let your brain be complicated or get it all too complicated in your head, it all makes quite simple sense as to how they navigate through the multiverse in this movie. They took a concept and made it so human. And it was just brilliant, man. I just feel like there's something for everyone in this movie.
Yeah. So from a writing aspect, they did their thing. Now, I didn't exactly try to understand the difference between writing in an original screenplay and an adapted screenplay. I didn't try to understand that. Maybe you'd be willing to explain it, but they were two different categories. And so I guessed for writing adapted screenplay, I went with women talking. And even though I would have loved Glass Onion to win, women talking was fantastic. Even though like Glass Onion, I'll take that. From my understanding, the women talking was a book, maybe.
Yeah, and that's what adapted means. It means it was taken from another piece of material.
So why would Glass Onion be there?
Because he's given Agatha Christie a lot of the credit for his ideas.
Okay, that makes sense. So adapted, then yeah, women talking. I think it's just
yeah.
I really can't say what I liked about it. It's just I felt like when looking at the list, that was probably going to win. It probably deserved to win.
You know, it was well written, man. It was all narrative the whole time. It was just it was great dialogue wise. Actress in a supporting role.
This is the one that in capital letters, in my opinion, snub.
2 snubs, actually. More than 1.
3, in my opinion.
Oof, 3 snubs. Yeah, bro. I voted for Stephanie Sue. And the reason why I voted for her was because she played such a gripping villain in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but still a very like emotionally accessible type of a supporting role. And so when I saw her be nominated as young as she is, I was like, man, it's so cool. It's just cool. It's inspiring. So that's why I rock with her. Who'd you vote for?
I voted for Angela Bassett because she gripped in her scene, specifically in the throne room scene where she's talking about how she's lost everything. I thought that scene was brilliant. Now, in my opinion, there's also Carrie Condon from the Banshees of Inisherin was fantastic in her role also. So the real winner was Jamie Lee Curtis. Now here's how I feel. I love Jamie Lee Curtis.
Insane, bro.
She's great as an actress and as a person. This feels like a legacy win. This feels like we don't know the next time you're going to be nominated. And so we're going to give this to you now.
I know, bro.
That's what this feels like. This feels like Angela Bassett was nominated for her role in a Marvel movie. And maybe we don't like giving those Oscars still.
We don't. That's just a real truth. I don't think that the Marvel movies are respected like that. And I think that it's what this movie stands for and who it stands for, right? That's part of the reason why it gets the respect that it does. How many times do you see a Marvel movie? There are way better Marvel movies, way better, that are not even with that when it comes to the Oscars. You know, this is the movie's a movement. You know, all that being said, I still think that's part of the reason why she got snubbed. I think you're right. At the end of the day, they gave it to someone who may not return, Angela Bassett and Stephanie. Stephanie's so young. You know, there's a lot of opportunities for this Oscar to come. I just don't agree with it, though, bro.
I don't either. Because she's not even the best supporting actress in the movie. Like,
yeah, so that's snub number 1. Like, AB, like Angela Bassett, she caught the L on this. It was just wrong. Come on, man. But at the same time, there's also this level of like, Stephanie, if it wasn't going to be Angela, then it would need to be Stephanie, in my opinion. And she also got snubbed. And in that movie, her role, Jamie Lee's role, is so insignificant compared to the supporting role of the villain and the daughter of the protagonists.
Yeah, I mean, like, Jamie Lee did great in the movie, but if she was put on this also, There must be no other better supporting actresses out there for the year 2022.
I guess, man.
This is legacy. This is your first Oscar. We don't know when we'll see you again.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest snub of the night, in my opinion. Besides the fact that like there are other movies out there that didn't even get one Oscar, but
And they don't want to get a black woman an Oscar. Come
crazy.
on, man. These people.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, snubbed. Probably the biggest disappointment of the night.
Yeah, bro, it's bad, man. But again, this happens. We've seen it happen previously, and we know, this is why I think R being up here doing crazy stuff, Everything Everywhere All at Once being predominantly Asian American movie, like there's cultural, what's the word? We're coming out creatively, and there's a balance when it comes to culture that's starting to happen that the Oscars can't stop, bro. Parasite was nominated Movie of the Year a couple years back. Moonlight prior to that, like
Parasite was great.
come on, bro. Moonlight was great too, bro. Moonlight was great, and La La Land was great that year too.
Oh, La La Land. We're not here to talk about
Bro,
that,
La La
bro.
Land is
We're not here to talk about that.
I'm sorry, we talking Oscars though. We talking Oscars. Back at it.
Next up, I think we should do actor in a supporting role because these are the supporting roles. This was the one where I was like, he got it.
Wait, so who did you vote for?
Same person you voted for.
Oh, my boy Ki Kwan.
My new favorite actor in Hollywood.
And bro, he was doing his thing, man. And it was wild is like his story, if you obviously are sleeping and you may not have heard the story of how this guy got typecasted, basically like any opportunity for more success outside of being a stunt coordinator for X-Men movies, or being a child actor, they basically kind of like locked him up, wouldn't let him back in. And he came back and took it for all.
Yeah. My man's health insurance was taken away from him during the pandemic. Like
ridiculous.
And then bam. And he was so great in that movie. He was my favorite part of the movie.
And his acceptance speech was also so good. Anyways, keep going.
He's been great. Watching him speak in public has been great. And like the thing is, all of the other actors besides one in this category, I would have easily been like, okay. If Judd Hirsch would have won, I would have been like, nah. But Brendan Gleeson, Brian Henry, and then Barry Keoghan, they were all great.
Excellent.
They were all great. So like for a while, Barry had my vote, but then I watched this and it was over.
Absolutely.
So this was the one. This was the easy one. So, I was like, he got it.
I just feel like he was the glue in the movie. I mean, not to discredit Michelle Yeoh's performance. Obviously, she was excellent. But her excellence was highlighted and contrasted by what Ki brought to the movie. And I just felt like it was beautiful, man. I loved how they tied it. I didn't see him being such an impactful character coming. And when that came in the back end of the movie, I was like, man, that's so special, that like her daughter, she made a person that becomes the antagonist in this universe. But then the protagonist in her life is her husband. So she's a perfect mix of both because she has to let in the chaos, but also have the heart that her husband has. And I just love the way that they wrote that out. I really enjoyed how they did that. I think he is the reason why that got executed, a major part of why. So special, man. He did a special job acting. You could just feel his heart in each of the scenes. The scene where he peeks his head over the vending machine and he's like, I gotta go. And then he leaves and comes back as the other version of himself. And he's like, honey? I'm like, yo, all he used was his eyes for that scene. He's a beast, bro. He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah. It was great. It was great. Yeah, I guess we move on to actress in a leading role. I mean,
yes, sir.
For me, it was between Cate Blanchett or Michelle. I went Cate.
Yeah.
Just because
it's Cate.
I wanted to be different from you. Really. I was like, let me go the other way. Let me go the other way. It's a toss up between them though. Everybody else, I was like, meh.
There was only one place it was gonna go, bro. It was Michelle. Every other award leading up to, not to mention, broke the record for all time
Absolutely.
awards.
No, like I said, it was between Kate and Michelle. You went Michelle, and I said, let me be different, and that's it.
I think Michelle was very I think she did a great job, man. I just loved certain things, certain details, like shout out new media rock stars. They highlighted like this scene where her husband takes her out of the trance of her busyness and her anxiety, and she kind of does the move that they do when they teleport, when they jump, and her like jumping back to, oh wait, but we got to take care of this and we got to take care of that. And it's little moments like that where she puts significant acting into these little pieces and places that you can tell the role was important to her. It felt like it was her. It didn't feel like she was acting. And it's performances like those that deserve Oscars, in my opinion. The ones where we forget that the actor is an actor. Those are the ones. So she did a great job. Oscar-worthy performance.
I have no complaints about Michelle winning.
All right, so then let's get on to actor in a leading role. Who did you vote for?
This was my hardest category, I think, maybe.
Why?
4 out of the 5 of these nominees, I said, yep, they could do it. And my overall vote, my decision, wasn't based on anything other than the fact that the Academy likes to ride on autobiographies.
Word.
And so I just went Austin Butler because I truly could not pick.
What did you think of Brendan Fraser's performance in The Whale?
I thought it was great. I love Brendan Fraser. And his story also is just, he also has a powerful story. Like, I'm so proud of him and Key. Like, those two more than anybody.
Yeah, the Forgotten. This is the year of the Forgotten for sure, getting awards.
But yeah, Brendan Fraser was great. I thought The Whale was very, very emotionally like driving.
Oh heck yeah, man! I mean, different, bro.
Yeah. So like, I got it wrong. I went Austin Butler again for the sole fact that Hollywood and the Academy loves to give as many awards as they can to autobiographies.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of the guesses that you make or predictions you make, if you're paying attention to the awards shows prior to the Oscars, you can kind of tell who's going to kind of take it. And I think that's part of why I guess Brendan as well. It's not just the performance, it's also the fact that he's being recognized for what this role means for him in his career too. And that's where the Oscars get finicky, man. It's not just strictly this movie was great. There's sometimes a lot of like politics in the background of the award. Grammys, same thing.
Yeah, it's true. It's with all of these award shows, you can never really know what's genuine, what's deserved. We can only just say what we think. Hope the Academy listens. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Like, it's just, what can we say?
Anyways, to that point, let's go ahead and keep moving toward the conclusion. Second to last one here, animated feature film. I voted for Puss in Boots. I don't know if you saw this thing, man, but, even before I jump into Puss in Boots, like Turning Red, I thought was going to take it. I did, because it's Pixar, or was it Pixar? It was just Disney. And whenever they do anything that gets Oscar nommed, I feel like they end up taking it home. But when it comes to Puss in Boots, the art style of this movie, it had to be inspired by Into the Spider-Verse. There was a bunch of different animation styles. Certain frame rates were cut to create dramatic flair. It's a very colorful movie. And then these Puss in Boots movies, man, just like the first one, they come with like pretty deep writing. It's like a really well-written story.
Puss in Boots was great. It was fantastic. It's my favorite in this category, but it's not who I voted for.
Who'd you vote for?
The winner, Pinocchio. It was fantastic. Pinocchio was fantastic. And it's not the Disney Pinocchio with the cute songs. And no, it's very, not gritty, but like, it's not colorful. It's not sunshines and rainbows. You know what I mean? It's tragic. It's a tragic film.
Nah, man, you're absolutely right. I just feel like anytime somebody does a take on a Disney movie and takes it to a different place that we all know is a little more grounded, a little more real, but still has the magic and the wonder of the actual fairy tale, you know, because all of those are all adaptations of stories like the Grimm brothers stories and stuff. So it's cool to see when they take it and they do stuff like that. I love that Guillermo del Toro did what he does best. You know what I mean? He's an esteemed director. I understand what you're trying to say, 100%.
Listen to this. This is the genre that it's classified as: stop motion animated musical dark fantasy.
Yeah, it's fire.
This movie was great. It was a great movie, and the cast was fantastic. Ewan McGregor, I love Ewan McGregor.
Heck yeah, man.
Finn Wolfhard, Kate Blanchett, David Bradley. Like, it was great. It was great to focus on Geppetto and not just Pinocchio.
Yeah, man. Great take. Great take.
Yeah. But that was animated feature. I appreciate all the eyes on animated, because animated feature films and television shows get a lot of crap. They get a lot of discarding. Those are kids stuff. No, they're not. They're not just for kids. And I hope we get to see more and more respect for it soon.
Yeah, I love the way that that The Rock and Emily Blunt kicked off like the nomination speech there, like they're giving out the nominations, because I just think it was like silly, but it captured the attention of the crowd to understand like the reality is like an animation is really important, you know. So it's cool. I really do love it too. But moving on to the last and the greatest, obviously here, the most esteemed award of the night, saved for last, Best Picture. I'm pretty sure we both put the same thing. We put the same thing, right?
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
You know, the Daniels, bro, I just think the Daniels, they did it, man. They just did it. They had fun. They did something very daring. There are scenes in this movie that look cheap, bro. They look like cheap shots, and it
works. Like, how do you make it work? It's so good.
I don't know. It's so good.
Right? Because looking at the list, there's only 3-ish movies, maybe, that I would have seen taking the Best Picture award home.
Right.
But Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, definitely, it had it. It had it.
It was just so good, bro. I really enjoyed everything that it brought to the table. And as I keep watching it, I keep finding more pieces that make me fall in love with it. And I think that's some of the best movies are the ones that have that. They have this replayability to them that's still deep in the experience.
I watched the movie, and then the next day I rewatched the movie because I needed more. Like, I needed to do it again. And the second time, it was really where I was like, yo, this is it. This is it. One thing I did want to say, this has nothing to do with Everything Everywhere All at Once. This just more has to do with like the Oscars in memoriam section. You know, they miss out on a lot of people every year, but there's one person that I feel like I was really surprised that they missed out on, because Triangle of Sadness was nominated for Best Picture. And I watched this movie. The movie was crazy, and I'm looking into the actors of the film because a lot of them interested me, and I found that one of the lead actors passed away not too long after the movie came out, and I didn't see her in the in memoriam section, which I thought was kind of crazy. So Charlbi Dean, rest in peace, because your movie was nominated for Best Picture, and I don't think you were even shown.
Oh, wow.
Or mentioned.
That's crazy. I don't think I saw that either. Yeah, man. It's the Oscars. As we do an Oscar episode.
I feel like having people that talk about not only the successes but the weaknesses of the show can hopefully make it better. Like, calling out the things that we see wrong with these shows also. Like, how are you going to forget one of the main characters of your Best Picture nominee that she passed away? How are you going to just do all the other things that you do that are so questionable when you're called out for every year?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Politics, bro. They're ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's obviously other topics we didn't talk about, you know, production design, short films. Those are all important categories. Don't get it twisted. They're great.
Absolutely. No, yeah. Obviously, no award is lesser, but there is, you know, one that's esteemed. And Everything Everywhere All at Once came and swept the board. Swept the board.
One more category that I did want to talk about because I feel like I can't let this episode pass by without talking about my favorite movie from last year, which is still The Batman. Maybe it's not the best movie from last year, but it still is my favorite because that movie just. But
it's amazing, bro. That opening scene is one of the best ever.
Yes. The fact that The Batman wasn't even nominated for cinematography,
I thought that was so stupid.
I don't understand that because, like, The Batman, that movie is, in my opinion, cinematography. Everything is chosen at a specific angle for a specific reason. They do it all purposely, and it's not even nominated.
Yeah, it's different, bro.
So I don't know about that.
Yeah, man, I felt like the same thing with, I felt Nope. Nope had a really good sound. And yeah, you need to see that. Nope had a really great sound. And to not see it get a nomination, I don't think it was going to win. Obviously, like, Top Gun Maverick did what they did. But Nope definitely deserved a look. Didn't get one. I thought that was silly.
Exactly. Like, some of these things deserve to at least be looked at. Like, if Best Picture can have 10 nominations, why are we limiting cinematography to 5? Like, come on now. We can do better. Costuming, Batman ain't a part of costuming either.
I really liked Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan doing the cinematography nomination part. I love that. That was good.
You know, as someone who watched all these movies and got 8 out of the 12 predictions, I was like, okay, for the most part, they did their thing. It sucks that not everybody could walk away with an award. The Fablemans was incredible. I don't think they won anything. The Banshees of Inisherin was really good, and they didn't walk away with anything. After Sun was really good, didn't walk away with anything. But, you know, I just hope that the people who were nominated, they have their chance again at some point in the future.
I think that was also what was cool this year, too. We got to see a lot of actors and actresses that we don't see often get nominated. And that was cool. I did appreciate that. I mean, it just shows that film is still very much alive, man. It's very much alive. There's a lot of actors and actresses that are putting on excellent performances, writers that are writing their behinds off, and directors that are coming out of nowhere with special stuff, you know. The Daniels teaming up with the Russo brothers to get Multiverse down to a T was so smart on their behalf, but their vision was just so great. I'm so excited for our Best Picture director winners, for whatever comes next from them, from the Daniels. Whatever their next thing will be, I really do believe it'll be just as special. So, again, some of my favorites, Glass Onion got snubbed, but great movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on Netflix. Babylon, please see it. Please see Babylon.
Not yet. Watch Glass Onion. Watch Glass Onion.
It's crazy. We gotta do an episode on that, but it's great. Like you said, Batman was great. Batman, you gotta see, and The Whale. You want to watch Brendan Fraser do his thing. Watch all the animated feature films. Listen, guys, just watch everything.
Watch these movies. Watch these movies.
Right.
Most of them, at least.
Yeah, whatever the Daniels do next is just gonna be really special. But anyways, as we're coming to the end of our episode here, we just want to say thank you for rocking out with us for yet another one. This is, I can't believe it, episode 6 already. Thanks for riding through with us. One thing we want to definitely start to bring life to, on our podcast, trying new things, like Willie said, we're doing different things, is we want to start to get some voice memos sent in from people who are listening. If you're on Spotify or the Anchor app, you are actually able to send in a little voice note to us on your thoughts. We'll write a prompt that you can kind of respond to, and then we can take your voice, your audio, and bring it into the episode. Anyways, again, we're so glad you were here. Willie, any last words as we're signing off?
I mean, other than maybe hinting at what next week is about?
I think we shouldn't even give them the heads up. They should just pop out. Nah, I'm just kidding. Tell them what we're talking about.
So next week, we're talking about HBO's The Last of Us.
Taking the world by storm.
The most watched HBO Max show of all time.
One of the most watched TV shows ever. Crazy.
So, can't wait to see you there. We've got a lot to say.
It's going to be a good time. We'll catch you next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. But until then, this has been IV. That's Willie. And we're signing off. Thanks for tuning in to CUZZO-OP, where you'll always find two cousins, one podcast, endless entertainment.